This week, we take, I'm going to say, a Star Wars approach to our storytelling. This is kind of like,
Like all over the place.
yeah, and everyone's kind of related. It's a space opera. But it's because this is a sequel to the last episode, but it's technically a prequel. Friends, last week we did Portland, Oregon. This week, we're doing Portland, Maine.
Portland, Maine, which for those of us that are uneducated,
It's like the Phantom Menace of places.
I was just going to say, you guys, it's not yellow hats and yellow coats.
And Katie was very disappointed that she didn't get bay spray all over her, or a fish stick, I'm going to say.
Right. I just thought that, I mean, how cool would that be? You show up to Portland and they
Like
give
they
you
stop you. It's like a toll.
Here's your fish stick. Welcome to Portland, Maine.
Friends, we're talking lobster. We're talking the best bakery we've ever been to in our entire life.
Oh my God, so good.
Friends,
Let's talk Portland, Maine.
let's. The Phantom Menace.
No.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Jordan had a coffee. He made himself a coffee, and
I
now
just
he's a
chugged
little like belching machine.
No, I thought you were going to be like, he's fun, he's quirky, he's perky.
No, he's a gas giant out his mouth.
I am a gas giant. Call me Jupiter, just like the Roman god.
I can't even respond.
Anyway, we had a late night because we went to a Halloween party last night because it's spooky season.
It was spooky, and we were out past our bedtime.
Which our bedtime is 5 p.m.
It feels like it.
We have the same bedtime as a cat.
Well, you and I have been eating dinner earlier and earlier. It's like crazy. I feel like it's like 3 o'clock, and we're like, oh, time to start thinking about dinner.
Well, every day we get older, Katie.
Yeah, and
you
the older you get, the earlier your meals happen.
It's true, because the world's oldest people in Okinawa, Japan, famously eat their dinner at 8 a.m. Speaking of aging, you shared a special comment with me this morning about your skin and elasticity.
I was laying there in bed, and I just felt like my skin kind of like sagged to the back, and I'm like, I just feel like I've lost some elasticity in my skin. I'm like, it's happening.
What do we got to do?
We don't got to do nothing. We're just letting it flow to the back.
Just love feeling like the power of gravity.
I don't know that I love feeling the power of gravity, but I am feeling it. And maybe when you're as old as I am, you'll feel it too.
I'm getting there. Every day I'm a little bit closer. So, friends, welcome today to Exploragonians, a travel misadventures podcast. I'm Jordan, caffeinated Jordan. Jordan, parenthetical, hyphen, caffeinated. Oh, God.
And I'm saggy skin gravity Katie.
Hi, saggy Katie.
Wow.
And today, it's spooky season. It's like raining, so I don't know if we're going to get some like rain ASMR up in this biz.
That sounds nice.
Also, spooky season, you grabbed the mic and you were immediately freaked out because you had a friend.
Well, the spider is like raining down on me, and it was not ready, and I didn't want it there.
How big was the spider?
Big enough.
Give me some dimensions.
I'm not gonna say. Jordan's trying to diminish the intensity because the spider was not like a tarantula.
'Twas the size of some fresh ground black pepper.
It was big enough.
It was, I don't know if it could do anything to you.
I just didn't want to share the mic, and I didn't want it crawling while I was trying to focus.
You want to silence a baby spider.
No, I just wanted to relocate. So Jordan took it outside. And by outside, not outside.
I wiggled it into Katie's plants because apparently...
No, our plants.
Oh, our plants. My son, who is a spider plant.
Okay. What are we talking about today?
You know, we're doing like a little bouncy bounce thing. I thought, and I think we thought together. You thought would be hilarious if we went
so funny
back to back Portlands.
So get ready for haha. Last week,
I mean, because today's been hilarious.
I think today's been weird. Maybe it's the Halloween party. Maybe it's just you and I.
Maybe
I don't
it's
know.
the moon, man. Maybe we should get the spider a microphone.
I was gonna say maybe it's the baby spider. Anyway, Portland, Oregon was so last week. This week,
we're doing New Portland, okay?
We're doing New England, Portland.
Okay, we're going to Portland, Maine, which for some people they'd be like, oh, dude, the OG Portland. And it's not. We found out last week, for all of you longtime listeners,
Long-time listeners.
that Portland, Maine actually got its name from an island, the Isle of Portland, which is off of Dorset, England. I have no idea where that is.
Yeah, what did I tell you? There was like 18,000 people that live there. I think
On
that's
the Isle.
I think that's too high.
I think you said 13.
Yeah, I think I did too.
Well, we are in Oregon. It's usually too high.
Well, anyway, too bad we're not talking about that.
We sound like a couple shock jocks. And by us, I think it's just me.
What's a shock jock?
Yeah, anyway. So
That sounds like something.
it's like an early morning gross. Okay, it's like a crazy Ira and the douche.
It sounds like, jock strap,
We talked about
shock
jocks.
drop,
Shock drop.
I can't even say it.
Anyway,
Okay,
the
let's move
Isle
on.
of Portland, which, as we all know, friends, the name Portland comes from the Old English term Portlanda, which, as we all learned in history class, stands for or means
Yeah.
land surrounding a harbor. I couldn't find it in my notes, but now I have. So, right. In, I guess, the early 1600s, European settlers arrived in this area of what is now known as New England
And
and settled. And I think it was under different names. And then eventually they became their own city on July 4th. In the 1700s, and they decided to name themselves Portland based off of the Isle, which was weird. He was like, oh, happy Independence Day, let's take our name from something in England. New England, they can't escape it. They can't escape the trappings of their origin.
I just feel like it highlights the lack of creativity.
Of
Or-
New England?
Or it's like people being like, I mean, if you're this person, that's fine. But like, oh, my name is now your name. I'm going to pass it on. And we all have the same name.
You talking about juniors? Like that kind of thing? Or just
Yeah.
or like George Foreman, I
just-
name all my kids George or some
Right.
version of it.
And, because it's like, oh, we're just going to repeat names, like our European names. We're bringing it here. And
You're paying homage. You're paying respect to the place you fled from.
I mean, I feel like it's that, but I also feel like it's like, path of least resistance. How about New England?
Okay, so
Anyway.
let's talk Maine. Let's talk New England. We went to Portland. We drove. It was a part of our enormous road trip that we took, cross-continental. We finally leave, southeastern Canada. We go into Maine, and it felt like we were leaving a beautiful utopia of Canada
Mhm.
into a post-apocalyptic setting coming into Maine, and we were separated by a creek.
Yeah, no, it was like the vibe shifted drastically. We had met somebody in Canada at a coffee shop
In New
and-
Brunswick, right?
Sure. And we were like, we're jazzed. I'm like, oh yeah, I don't know. I've always wanted to go to Maine. I was really, really excited.
Because you love Stephen King, right?
No, I don't know. I'm just, the other Portland. I don't know why. I just feel like I've always been drawn to Maine.
There does feel like some sort of strange connective tissue, and I think it's probably just projection of the Pacific Northwest and this specific part of New England.
But they're also on the water. I mean,
Right.
it's coastal. We're coastal. I don't know.
It seems like it should be a perfect fit, hand in glove.
We're at this coffee shop. We're jazzed about Maine. This woman turns around and interrupts our conversation and says,
She's
oh,
from Maine.
she's from Maine, and says something like,
It's sinister out there.
yeah, and we were like, what? She brought the vibe down, and I feel like it was the fog rolled in. And we were like, okay.
It was such a strange grounding moment to hear someone who had been or lived in Maine to kind of have that take. I mean, Susan Collins, I could see why you'd say that, but
I mean, I feel like she was yeah, she didn't say have fun or you're going to love it or it's really spectacular.
this
or
would have
any-
been the prologue scene in a horror movie.
Mhm.
It'd been two plucky tourists who were like, no, Maine's going to be great.
Okay, so as we crossed the border into
Into Maine.
Maine, Yeah, there was that sinister feeling that just kind of crept in, and then it never really went away.
It was like dilapidated buildings. Things weren't very well taken care of. And we had just come over from like a pretty thriving, cute little town.
Mhm.
Again, right over the border.
Right, you could throw a stone, right? I mean, like, it was
Yeah, I could
right there.
I could peg Americans from Canada. And it was, it was just a good and I just think this was so important for me for travel because in America, we get told this narrative that like we are fundamentally the best, the greatest, probably the only country that has freedom.
Totally.
And then you go to a place like Canada, which I think a lot of people just kind of write off. They're like, oh, well, it's Canada. It's like this nebulous thing. It doesn't really exist.
Right.
And to go over into Canada, and obviously Canada has problems. We all have problems. But they were like taking care of things and people seemed happy. And it was just so
Yeah.
strange to go back into America.
Yeah. Okay. So we're driving through Maine. I feel like people are driving not great.
We don't have cell service for a long time.
A long time.
We're Google mapping it. We're like, I don't know, there's like no shoulder. We're in forests. Like it does seem like we're driving into a Stephen King novel.
So, I mean, you could see where the inspiration was coming from. So I just feel like we experienced that across the board, everywhere in Maine, up until we arrive in Portland.
Well, I think the capital was like the breaking point where like that fog kind of lifted, but we're not talking about that.
We're not talking about
We
that.
spent a little bit of time in Augusta, which is
Emphasis on a little time. We had a lovely dinner, and it was really cool. And I feel like there was a little vibe shift, but that was it.
and then we moved on. We get into Portland and immediately like we're just noticing like the architecture, how things are looking, and I mean, it seems so removed from what I think of when I think of like cities, metro areas. And it was just really beautiful. Like, I think the first thing that I think of is like brick. Like, that's just what comes to mind. Like, there was just so many brick buildings, brick sidewalks.
Brick roads. I mean, it was
Yeah, what? Were they yellow brick?
They were not.
Oh.
It was very bricky, but really beautiful and so different than what we have on the West Coast, you know?
Mhm.
And so I feel like for the first time we were like, whoa, like we're not in Kansas anymore, like we were somewhere else. I was looking around fully expecting yellow coats, yellow hats to be swept off the side into the ocean.
You wanted everyone to look like the Gorton's fishermen?
I just was expecting it. No? You don't have that thought?
No, I do. Okay, so I think Portland, Maine, for us, and I think Maine suffered from a lot of like projection and expectation. And so, right, when we had read about Portland, Maine, and it was one of the places on like our short list of places to move that was an alternative to Los Angeles. So we were just going through, we were building up in our mind, however it was presented to us. It did seem kind of like, I don't know, in my mind, this is probably going to be weird to you. In my mind, it was going to be like Coastal Bend.
Oh.
Like that was my expectation. I think I was thinking like chill, probably some vests, a lot of beanies, like kind of chill people.
Yeah, I get that.
And I do feel like the people we interacted with were generally kind of uptight.
Again, I think that's kind of the vibe of the area, which,
Right.
If you're listening to this and you're like, that's not the vibe of the area, I'm sorry.
Well,
This
yeah,
is
yeah.
just...
And that's the thing. It's like we're only presenting like a small sample size of data from our own experience and from our own expectation. And I feel like we blew that expectation out of proportion. And I don't know, maybe it's because like, there is all this like discourse between these two cities that have the same name. And I don't know, can you think of any other dual name areas in America that have like the same name that are both kind of like thriving-ish cities?
Yeah, no, I think it is. And I think when like Portlandia blew up and it was like, oh, Portland, you're like, which one? And then I think that, really so much of the conversation really did shift to Portland, Oregon.
For good reason.
Yeah. And so I'm sure that Portland, Maine has,
A little bit of a chip on its shoulder.
I'm sure there's a little bit of that. But overall, I mean, yeah, this Portland, Maine.
Which Portland?
Portland, Maine is significantly smaller and more quaint, but I know,
more quaint. I mean, that's
maybe
hard to
it's
say.
not quaint.
It was definitely more extravagant in certain ways. Just in terms of like the old port neighborhood, just like that, the cobblestone streets, all the brick. I mean, there was like a free people business in this like ornate, beautiful brick building. I mean, just the buildings were so extravagant. But I think in terms of like quaint neighborhoods, I think there were similarities between Portland, Maine, and like many of our favorite neighborhoods in Portland, Oregon.
Yeah. I thought when we were, walking around, enjoying the brick, I feel like there was a lot of like cute, artsy shops. I think there was kind of some pricey boutiques.
There were
but
pricey boutiques.
That's to be expected. I mean, I read that there was a lot of gentrification happening.
There was like, and this surprised me, but maybe it was just because we were hanging around like the old port area, just like this area that was trying to cater to a certain type of people. I do think it seemed kind of touristy.
Do they have cruise ships? Because I feel like the cruise ships on the East Coast, I mean, I was surprised.
I think just East Coast boat culture in general.
I wasn't expecting it. It was just like I feel like anytime we're at the ocean, there was just boats. And
I think we were more like by the bay.
Anytime we were by a body of water, I just feel like there was an abundant amount of boats and like
a boat dance.
And I don't know, we have boats over here. I don't know, you guys. It was different. It was different boats.
I think on whatever. I think on our coast it does seem like if you see a fishing vessel, it's more like commercial. Like it's more for like sustaining your lifestyle or your livelihood, not like I'm out here for leisure.
Right.
Like people who go out on boats for leisure, I don't understand. Like that doesn't make like being on a boat. It's like we're gonna go fishing. You're gonna be cold and you're gonna be miserable. Like
I've been on a boat for leisure. Once.
What did you do?
Well, that's not true. I guess multiple times. But
Wow. Is your nose in the air?
Oh my god!
Oh my
no,
God.
we rented a boat to like drive the boat like on the lake
in Texas.
But I'm talking about the boat, and Detroit Lake and some other places. Anyway,
it must be nice.
I loved a boat. So I don't know what my problem was on the East Coast. Anyway, no, I think the only time I went like sailing was in Nevada.
What's up, Georgia?
Yeah, and I feel like that was kind of like that was a leisurely,
like Jabba the Hutt's
like
pleasure barge.
We're just laying on the boat.
That's weird to me.
Yeah, no,
I don't understand that.
No, I did it one and done. Can't do that again.
Okay, so coming back to the cruise ship thing and boat thing, I think there was this like spell that was broken about the quaintness of Portland when we like crossed like a major road and we were just kind of like in the pier area. Like there were so many piers, and I think Astoria, Oregon has a lot of piers, but this was just like the piers were like 6 feet away from each other. It was like boom, 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 and they all had like.
They were working piers.
Some of them were, but some had like restaurants on them, or some were gonna do like some sort of like cruise. I don't know.
Cruise.
There was so many things.
I think there's like just a lot going on.
And I also think Portland, there were like these iconic restaurants for places to eat, but they were like impossible to get into. I do think we were there on like, we might have been there on a Friday. I can't remember. And so maybe that was like part of the struggle. But yeah, there was a couple places where like, oh, this is like a really cool place to eat. But it was like, oh, a 2-hour wait. I think we're going to go. I don't think I'm going to stay here.
Well, while we were walking around, we did end up, because I feel like Maine and Portland is known for lobster.
It sure is.
And what'd you think about the lobster?
Okay, so it's hard to say. We didn't have a huge sample size. Obviously, we didn't have like the funds to just be like dropping lobster rolls everywhere. But we did go to a place that had lobster rolls. I think they had like a rich history in the area. Maybe they started out as food carts and now they have a brick and mortar business. We saw it, it was like one of the highly recommended ones. I have fond memories of the roll itself, but the experience
was clouded by...
Yeah, there was one woman ahead of us in line waiting to get sat. We like chatted her up because she was just there alone.
Right.
She seemed friendly. She was visiting Portland. She wasn't from Portland, but was going there for a lobster roll.
Right, and so when the person came over and was like, "Oh, like
the person as in like the host."
The host came over, yeah, and asked
if we were together, like, "Oh, is it a table for 3?" Because it was us and her.
Yeah, and I feel like she was like, "Yeah," and I was like, "Okay," and then
we were like, "What?"
And she was like, "No," and it was like, "Wouldn't that be?" I don't know. It was such a weird way of her trying to make a joke about how we weren't actually like she didn't know us.
We didn't get it. The host didn't get it. We were all confused. She was, it was weird because it was like a friendly initial conversation.
Anyway, and then it got really unfriendly. We told her we were on this road trip. And
Well, because she was sat at like the bar because they were playing Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers. I'm not sure if it's extended edition. I hope so.
wow.
So they were playing that. I was very excited that they were just casually playing Lord of the Rings. We go get sat. I think you went to the bathroom and you saw her and you went and engaged again because I didn't have this conversation.
Oh, right. Because I was like, oh, obviously we like are started to build this relationship. And I think she was like, we're done here. But I don't know why she referenced the road trip, and she was like, sounds like a lot of togetherness. I was like, yeah, but it's great. I don't know.
I think that was one of the few times probably in our life together that we had built like a quick relationship or like acquaintance with somebody. But it just like there was absolutely a roadblock there. It was like we are not going any further.
She had really great boundaries, and there was something to learn with that it was like, we are done. Yeah, she put up a wall, and that was fine.
I think she just kind of like cold shouldered you, just kind of like Irish goodbye.
Hey, I got the message. But anyway, so then I went and sat down, and then you and I ordered our little lobster roll.
And emphasis on little because the full size lobster rolls at this place were like $40,
Yeah.
which I don't understand like the economy of lobster, but lobster rolls were so expensive. And I think this place, it was like, okay, you order your lobster roll and then you get like 2 dips. And it was like, they had like 30 options. I was like, I don't know what to get. What do you think I should get for my lobster roll?
Yeah, I feel like lobster roll culture is a whole thing in itself, and like you and I are not up to snuff.
But Richard's in Prince Edward Island.
Hey.
My God. It was hard because like no lobster roll will ever compete with that. Not only did we have the benefit of the Canadian dollar at our disposal, but it was also beautiful there. I mean, talk about just being like on the waterfront. So
Yeah,
this place,
they ruined us. So we couldn't even enjoy this little lobster roll.
It was like a $20 little puck.
Anyway, I'm happy we did it.
I'm also happy we did it. Okay, so if we're going to talk about food, obviously I think our trip to Portland, Maine was a lot of like consumption, just eating a lot of things. I was really
And drinking. We had
well, not drinking.
Well, apparently another thing the Portlands have in common is it's like beer culture.
Right, which I don't know. Are they like trying to like influence or keep up with one another? It's like, oh, you can do that. Well, I can do that too.
I feel like we had some better coffee over there
Than we have recently in Portland.
Yeah.
I do think
I don't know what happened to us here.
I don't know. I think Portland, Oregon is resting on its laurels a little bit of being like a cool third wave coffee town. And so I was really pleasantly surprised by the quality of the coffee we were getting in Portland, Maine. So much so, I think we went to the same place like 3 times, like in a day. And then we got another coffee at a different place, and that was also good.
Maybe we were having too much coffee.
Hoot me. No, never.
Yeah, and I feel like the coffee shop that we went to multiple times, it was quality, it was nice. And I feel like it had a really cute aesthetic. We ended up talking to this architect.
He was like a retired, it wasn't just architect. It was something like, it was like feng shui and architecture. It was like
Right.
aesthetic spaces, or there was something there.
Mm-hmm.
And so he had like pioneered this style of architecture, like maybe even interior design, something with that. And so, yeah, he was just at the table next to us. And it was like a common coffee shop thing where everyone was just like kind of engaged with their own thing, kind of just like silent on their device. You know, if they had people at the table with them, they weren't really talking.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if we like bridged it with him. I kind of think we maybe started. Like I made a comment to him, and then
Right.
pretty soon we're roped up in this conversation with this guy. And I think we talked for like 45 minutes.
Oh my God, yeah, a while, and yeah, and it was nice. And I feel like he gave us some information about the area and had a pleasant. It was nice to bridge it with like a local person. And anyway, and then we went along our way.
We did go along our way.
We went along our way, and we ended up going to a different part of town.
So we
But do you remember we like mailed? We mailed some mail in Maine.
mailed some mail in Maine.
Yeah, we like power walked to the post office,
Oh, yeah.
but then Well, I mean, this doesn't really matter.
It matters.
I mean, it doesn't matter.
It matters. Say it. I know you're going to say.
Yeah, well, because just saw this picture, and I remember, like, leaving the post office, and then, like, we found the little...
Box?
What's it called?
Mailbox?
Mailbox? Is it just called a mailbox?
I don't know, the big blue ones?
Yeah, the big blue mailbox.
A bin?
And somebody graffitied on it, and they wrote Disney
With a little heart.
with
afterwards.
a little heart.
Which, what a weird choice for your graffiti.
Okay, so anyway. So we had to skip town after that. And by
Okay,
skip
we drove
town,
like 10 minutes away to a different part of Portland. Because they have like apparently a now famous bakery, which was so small, like hole in the wall small, but it was in kind of like a neighborhood area. Like, you know,
Yeah.
it felt like our Portland.
it did. There was something very comforting and familiar about it. And I think just, you know, we found parking in the neighborhood. We walked up. And then initially, did we read it before? There was like a
We
sign.
read before we walked in.
There was like a sign on the window, and it was talking about like, kids, if you're hungry, it's like just come in and say you read the sign. And
Yeah, it wasn't like, oh, come in and say, hey, you're struggling and you'd like something. It was just like, I think you literally were just to say, hey, I saw the sign, and they were just going to hook you up.
they were doing their part to like help kids that are maybe not getting enough to eat at home. And yeah, it was a nice message. And so we walk in, a super small bakery. They have a lot to offer.
And at this point, it is the early afternoon. So in terms of like bakery time, like we were like fairly late. And I
Mhm.
don't know if they had everything.
I'm sure they didn't, but I mean, there was like a decent variety.
And everything looked so good. So I'm just going to say it like, you know, obviously we didn't do free pub for the lobster roll place. Ha ha. But this place is called Norimoto Bakery. And the owner / head baker there is Atsuko Fujimoto. And in 2024, she won the James Beard Award for Outstanding Pastry Chef or Baker. And so I think I had read that, and I was like, oh, we got to like go check this place out. So their website's terrible, which is great because they are hyper local and I think just rely on word of mouth, being a small bakery. But the one thing their website does have is maybe like their motto. It's like European baking, Japanese sensibility, Maine ingredients. But not like your main ingredient, like Maine.
Yeah.
The state of Maine.
It's so good.
So I think they tried to do like hyper local. Oh my God, their stuff was so good.
It was okay. So I mean, I was like, I wasn't not excited about it, but Jordan had read about it and was a little more on board than I was.
Because I probably read a little bit more than you did.
Isn't that what I just said?
I didn't share. I clearly didn't share it with you.
So we walk in, we buy something, we leave, we eat it. I go through something. I was like,
Like a spiritual awakening.
I was like, oh my God.
Well, what did you eat?
I ate a quiche.
And did they warm it up for you?
Probably.
Yeah.
And I love quiche at a base level, just usually. But it exceeded any expectation. And I mean, I was telling Jordan earlier, I feel like this is one of the best bakeries we've probably ever been to. And we've been to some good ones. And yeah, it was so good we had to go back and buy some more. I just...
Because did we even get like focaccia? Like we got like a loaf of focaccia. Like we got
Yeah.
we just loaded up.
Yeah, it was like, okay.
We got a tart. We got bread. Did we get another quiche?
I think so.
And they also, because the woman who runs it is of Japanese descent, they had onigiri, which is a traditional like Japanese snack, which is just like sticky rice in like shape, like a triangular shape with like some seaweed on it. And it's just like, just a quick little snacky thing. Me being a huge nerd and having read manga and watched anime, and really my first time seeing this was in Pokemon, let's be honest.
Okay.
I was like, this is the thing. And I just didn't know. I never had it before. Even when we were in Japan, I didn't know what I was looking for. So I got it. I mean, it was fine. It was rice. but it was fun.
It was rice plus seaweed and maybe something else in the middle.
and it was fun to have, and it was really really. It was just really nice that Portland has this.
Yeah. No, I think we were really, really impressed with that. And yeah, that was quite a highlight.
So how is remembering this bakery inspiring you in this moment?
I think it was like, yeah, it was very inspired. And obviously, we've been to Japan. And
Obviously.
I appreciated there was like this European style of baking, obviously this Japanese influence, and then being so influenced by, like utilizing local ingredients. I mean, obviously it was just so simple, but like really executed well. I just feel like being reminded of it is inspiring, and it makes me want to bake. It makes me want to create. And I think you and I just really appreciate quality food and, well, quality things. I don't know.
Right.
And again, I think that letter outside the business was really nice. And like, I've never seen that before. And I just felt like it also made me want to support that business because I was like, these people are actively trying to do good. And I think we would benefit from more businesses and more people doing things like that. So, yeah, 10 out of 10.
Oh my gosh.
My God.
And it was right next to a coffee shop, and so obviously
Obviously.
we've got to check that out.
Oh my God.
So and I think we had like a nice conversation with the people working, but it was like there was something off.
Yeah.
It's like New England off. It was friendly enough, but there is like an edge in the interactions we had in New England, like a curtness, like a directness, I think.
Yes.
Over here in the Pacific Northwest, like we're all
fluffy and let's chat and hang out.
like not like surface conversation, but I mean definitely maybe avoiding like tough conversations. I don't know how to describe it. When people like want to make like American culture a monolith, I think that is a mistake because this country is so huge, and remembering that each of these distinct areas are kind of culturally very different, even if we have like a shared federal history,
right,
and a shared language for the most part. I mean, just like the four corners of the U.S. that we've been to and all across. I mean, it is very different and people are different.
Yeah.
So I do.
Melting pot.
What a melting pot, and we need to remember that.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about some nuts and bolts about Portland, Maine. So obviously we talked about the population. The population of Portland, Maine is under 70,000 people, which Portland, Oregon, significantly larger. I mean, maybe, I don't know if it's like 10 times larger.
Did you read how old Maine was?
Well, it depends on what metric you're using. Like, there were native people in Maine.
There totally were. I know.
Also, are you talking geologically? Because it's probably hundreds of thousands of years old.
I don't know. When I Googled Maine or Portland, I don't know.
Portland, Maine is only 240 years old.
I mean, I didn't ask for this, but yeah, it was like 239 years old.
No, it's
like,
not.
Anyway, it was a whole thing.
I mean, just like,
Google.
We've named the place. That's like a whole other thing. Okay, so this probably is going to be a trick question. Which city do you think is rainier, Portland, Maine, or Portland, Oregon?
Maine.
Okay, it is. But there's like, I don't know if it was rain, but it's precipitation. And so apparently, I was surprised by this. Annually, I couldn't find like great numbers, but annually, I guess Portland, Maine has like around like 47 inches of precipitation a year. And Oregon has like upper 30s, low 40s a year. And I was surprised by that.
See, we're just, it's like, we rain. It was like, no, we have more rain. Or it's like, we drink beer. No, we drink more beer.
We drink coffee. No, we drink coffee.
Yeah.
We're a food city.
We're quirky. But who's more introverted?
Oof.
I think the Oregonians.
No way. Other things about Portland, Maine, is that you had this conversation at a restaurant in Glen Eden Beach with some guy who was from Maine.
Oh, yeah.
What was his name? Bob?
Yes.
Okay, so you hung out with a dude named Bob. who was at the bar. Bob at the bar.
I know. What were you doing?
I was hanging out with our friend.
Oh, right. And
You
I was
left.
with Bob. You okay? Yes.
And so you guys were talking about Maine, and I think you were like, "Oh my God, Maine! I'd love to go to that sinister place."
Mm-hmm.
And I think he threw out this like fun fact that Maine has more coastline than like Oregon and California.
Oh yeah.
And we were like, "Shut up, Bob! You're an idiot."
I think Bob told me that. I told you that, and you were like, "No way."
Well, according to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric, agency, it's probably not what it is. NOAA.
Yeah.
It's true. It has more coastline than California.
Wow.
Which, depending on how you're measuring it, because obviously Maine is like technically shorter in like a straight line than something like California.
Mm-hmm.
But because it's so jaggedy, craggy, there's a lot of like peninsulas and coves and islands. So because of that, they measure that Maine has like 3,478 miles of coast. And California has 3,427, so like almost 50 difference. And then
Wow.
Oregon has like 1,410 miles of coastline.
Well, see, Bob knew.
Bob knew. They were very proud of that over in Maine. And yeah, so that was really strange for me. I don't think we got to see like a ton of Maine's coastline.
No.
Which is
Gotta
too
go
bad.
back to that sinister place.
And apparently Portland, it's the closest transatlantic port to Europe,
Whoa.
which is interesting.
So I wonder if they get like a lot of like cruise ships like in and out. Just kind of.
Well, I don't know. Port, I just think it's more like
Goods.
industry, right?
Fine.
Also, if we want to keep talking about connective tissue between the Pacific Northwest and Portland, Maine, they apparently have had like a cryptozoology museum for like 20 years where they do things like talk about Bigfoot.
What?
I don't know. Like, we can't all have Bigfoot.
Did we steal it from Portland?
I don't
The
know.
original, but not the original, if you know what I mean.
Well, apparently took the name.
I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. Bigfoot? I feel like that's like a Pacific Northwest thing.
Well, I feel like we've claimed it, but I mean, it was way creepier being over there.
It
so,
was
I mean,
so much creepier.
I don't know. I would believe it if they were like Bigfoot's here. I'd be like, yeah.
And you'll probably be happy about this. Apparently, in 1675, there was a Native American raid on what is now known as Portland, and they burned it to the ground.
Heck yeah.
They were like, nah, this is our space.
I don't know. Just the colonies, like the whole thing. Be like, that's crazy. Be like, you know what? This is our place now. I know you live here, and we're visiting, but
we want it more.
we want it, and we named it, and I wrote it down, so it's ours now. Anyway,
Not great.
history. It's wild.
Okay, so going back to our time in like just the city of Portland, Maine, just kind of like putzing around, bopping into shops, trying to talk to people, drinking a ton of coffee.
Mhm.
We were on some side street, and it was like a cute, cool little area, and we went by a barbershop. And my hair was like not looking great at this point, and I was like, oh, maybe I should go in and get like a Portland, Maine haircut, because we have a friend who's a barber,
Right.
and we always have these like conversations. Like, he told me to get like a haircut, a European haircut, and to come back. I didn't do it. And then I was like, oh, I'll get like a Portland haircut in Maine, and I'll come back. I didn't do it. Not for lack of trying, though, because we walked into this freaking barbershop, and this is on me for not just being like, I'm at a barbershop, cut my hair.
Yeah.
And like, I walked in, and there's just this abrasive freaking dude working, and he's like, hey, you're here for a haircut? And I was like, oh yeah, sure. I was just like, oh, is anybody like skilled at like cutting like curly hair? And he's like, listen, dude, you just want a haircut or don't you? And I was like, I'm leaving.
I know.
I guess that was just the wrong question to ask.
Jordan's got some trauma with his hair, so haircuts
I feel
are
like
a
it-
little more involved.
I feel like it was a simple question, right?
It was. I think his response was a little elevated, but that's fine. So then we didn't do that, and we got to walk around. And I do want to go back to
The future.
just me romanticizing Portland. And
Right.
like in my mind, I have my yellow cap and my yellow raincoat.
Okay,
and I'm
Gorton.
standing, I guess, on the pier. and the waves are like crashing, and I'm kind of getting like some spray. and by spray, maybe even more than just a spray. And it's really intense and rugged. And it's like stormy. It's like very stormy in my mind. And obviously, when we were there, it was not stormy. It was like a nice
It was
sunny
a
day.
warm, I mean, technically summer because it was early September. So it was a warm, sunny day.
So I feel like if I go back, I need to go in a storm.
I think you got more of this experience when we were in Nova Scotia.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I think about Peggy's Cove, like
Oh
that
my
was.
God.
Yeah.
Hey, we're not talking about that.
Well, so like that idea, like, oh, there's a lighthouse, and obviously there's like a man yelling "land ho" or something.
I mean, was Portland what you expected it to be? I mean, you clearly said it was like you thought more Bend type.
Coastal Bend.
Coastal Bend. I mean, which also feels, I mean, not hipstery, but kind of, what, elevated, outdoorsy, and by elevated, like, not ritzy,
Insincere.
but dang.
Well, excuse me.
Okay, let's go back.
Well, yeah, Portland wasn't what I expected. It wasn't. You talked about it being quaint, and I do think there were moments of quaintness, but it was more industrialized, developed than I expected it to be. Like, I thought it was going to be more chill,
Yeah.
and it definitely wasn't as chill as I thought it was going to be. And right, I mean, it just had like those amenities that you expect from cities at this point, like, you know, big fancy like chain clothing stores or like brands or whatever. But I mean, there were like cute things, but yeah, it wasn't what I expected. But things that I think defied my expectations and were better than I expected were like the architecture
Mm-hmm.
and like the cobblestone streets and just like that ruggedness. But yeah, it just wasn't what I expected.
Does it make you want to move there?
No.
Does it make you want a brick house?
Yeah, yes. Yeah.
Does it make you
Okay, but speaking of brick houses, like there were like the ivy covered brick houses in Portland, and I think you were really excited about those.
But was it ivy? Couldn't it have been
Plant.
something else?
Plant.
Yeah. I do love some greenery just growing off the side of some buildings.
Doesn't that seem like it'd be awful for the integrity of the house?
Yeah, I don't think it's good, but I'm like, I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, maybe this is on purpose. I don't understand botany.
Okay, I want to go back to like this expectation thing with Portland. So how was it versus your expectation?
Okay. I mean, clearly my expectations were high. We've already talked about my outfit. I'm there in the storm. It's like,
Right, and I think this is why it feels like a bit of a letdown versus the reality of what we experience. Like, I think we built it up a little
Right.
bit too much.
right. I do think, I mean, it's true. Like, there were quaintness, like, in it, but it wasn't, like, Little Big City. Like, it wasn't as,
Yeah, it felt bigger. It felt bigger than we expected it to be.
right.
And I think that just might be New England, the East Coast, just like it's more developed out there and is older.
And also more condensed. You know, there's
Right.
like, but yeah, I liked the brick. The brick was, I mean, I was expecting it, but I also wasn't. I don't know. It was more than I had thought.
It was definitely more than I expected too. Like it was prolific, the amount of brick.
Yeah. I mean, I always appreciate art in different areas we travel to, you know, and I had read that Portland was like a thriving art community,
Yeah, well,
supposedly.
it would have been nice to have been able to experience a little bit more of that, but we were on a bit of a time crunch when we were in Portland. So, I mean, we didn't get to stay as long as we would have wanted. But also, I don't know if it was necessarily calling to us.
I think that's also true.
You know, we visited more unexpected places that were like, oh, this feels good. Like Pittsburgh felt really good.
Mm-hmm.
And I think with Portland...
Felt good for us.
I think Portland, Maine, I think I was expecting more like what we experience in Canada, like Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island. Like, I think...
Yeah, like more small town feel, but like more accessible. I think more... Maybe I think maybe there was. Was there a walking path that was like,
There were, yeah.
but like by the water?
The bay.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't remember doing that.
We might
You
have
know,
been
like,
on it
you
for a second.
Like kind of like Astoria. Like I feel like that would have been nice.
I think they have something like that, but it's not, not as extravagant as what Astoria has, where you can look across and see Washington.
So it seems like what we're saying is we liked Portland, but we didn't love it.
I think if we had just stumbled upon Portland, Maine, like on this trip and been like, wow, Portland, like
That's true.
But right, we had, again, expectation.
You got to keep them low. That's a hot tip.
Expectation and also like what we were projecting onto it. And whether that's just because of our own expectations from like our Portland conversations that have happened, comparisons. And the only reason people make the comparison is because it shares a name.
Right.
And it's near water-ish, kind of.
Well-
Portland's on a river. I don't know. It was just, it's weird. To me, it's weird that we're even having like the conversation. Like I was on Reddit earlier and this person was like, should I move to Portland, Oregon or Portland, Maine? And it's like they're two
Whoa.
very, very different places.
Right. Like apples and oranges, maybe like
Apples and
watermelon and celery.
Yeah, there we go.
Sure. Anyway.
One's a little seedier, if you know what I mean.
Oh my God. Yeah, it is different. And I think maybe that's what we are promoting is like
To disassociate
right.
the two.
Right. Anyway.
Right.
Well,
The only reason they have a similarity is because this Pettygrove guy, 100 years ago, like won a coin toss.
mhm.
I mean, that's otherwise we'd be talking about Boston. People would be comparing Boston, Massachusetts to Boston, Oregon.
And maybe the lesson is don't name everything the same.
Yeah.
Where like it takes some of the individuality out of and like character away because you're like, oh, like I think this is why it's hard for me to be around other Katies.
Oof.
There
can only be one.
Yeah, and it's not a personal attack on anyone, but it's like, yeah, or it's like, oh, Katie, but it's like, which one are you talking about? Or it's like, oh, what, you feel like less special.
But with the name, you do get to a little bit of more of like individualism when you can add your, the initial of your last name. So you get to be Katie P
Mm-hmm.
versus other Katies.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Or it's like, if all the kids are named the same.
George Foreman's kids.
Oh my God. Anyway.
It is a
Portland.
strange idea. And these weird things when you name two places that are very different and not remotely similar, when you name them after each other, you do maintain this like connection for whatever reason. Like instead of calling it New Portland, they just called it Portland, because when we were in England, we went to York, which was the namesake for, say it with me, New York.
Yeah.
And so we were like, oh, well, why did we name it after? Just like, why are we doing this?
You don't think that it was named after York, England?
That's what I'm saying. When we were in York, England, New York. Stay with me.
I can't. All right. So Jordan just had to pause.
Yeah, hey, thanks to the power of editing, we paused the episode and we're back.
He had to play what he just said because I was regretting my my decision to talk about other Katies.
Hey, do you think New York was named after York, England? I'm just, maybe.
So right. So
Where do you think New Mexico got its name?
Oh my God. This is what I'm saying, these names. Okay, say it with me.
New Hampshire.
New York. Whoa. How about New
Port.
I can't even think of any news.
The Newsies.
Oh, Newsies.
Okay, so basically what we're saying is like there's expectations, there's a strange like shared destiny when you start naming places after each other. I imagine we're
Shared destiny.
kind of done doing that.
Well,
I mean, I'd like to.
maybe.
Hopefully we're done naming things. And maybe like
Yeah.
we start changing names. Anyway, overall, Portland, Maine, are you happy we went?
I am happy we went. I have no regrets. I'm happy we were able to prioritize it and finally see it, and now I have like a visual and like a feeling, and I can differentiate, between the Portlands, and that's helpful. Are you glad we went?
I'm very glad we went because obviously I had a very different image in my mind. And yeah, reading about a place is so much different than visiting the place and just being able to go around, putz around, get a feel for it. And, obviously it dispelled a lot of the illusions I had about what this place was. And I got to see that it was like a real place that relies on things like tourism. But we also got the serendipity, and this is what I love about traveling, the serendipity of something you didn't expect. Finding this bakery, seeing how much the proliferation of brick. And I think that was so much more valuable than having it be exactly what I expected. New York City, it was pretty much exactly what I expected, right? Like you're like, oh, this is, and it lives up to the hype. Portland, Maine was very different. Did not live up to the hype I had in my mind, but there are different parts of it that exceeded my expectations. I'm happy we went. Do I feel like I need to go to Portland, Maine again? Probably not. I know.
What about the yellow outfits?
What about the yellow outfits?
That's
I don't
it.
think that's a Portland, Maine thing. I think we could have been elsewhere in Maine and had that.
I think you're right.
We had 3,400 miles to choose from. We could probably go.
Okay. All right, you're right.
But I'm going to say if we're going to have that, Atlantic coast rain sea-soaked experience, I'd rather be in Nova Scotia or Newfoundland.
All right, well, watch out, Canada. He's ready.
I want to come back. Take me
Let him
back
back in.
So I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I hope that more people get the opportunity to experience Portland, Maine. I think it is maybe fairly difficult to get to. We experienced that when we were talking about ways to fly in there, and thankfully we were able to visit so many places on the East Coast in Canada because we had our car. Obviously, we had to drive that cross country. But I mean, if you found like a more central location to drive into to rent a car, then I think those things become a little more accessible.
Mm-hmm.
That was our experience with Portland, Maine. I'm happy to have had it. Happy to have had a lobster roll in 2 different countries.
Totally.
Wow. Even though one was significantly better and it wasn't in America.
Anyway. Well, thanks, everybody. That was fun.
So,
Portland. Goodbye, Portland.
Goodbye, Portland. And this wraps up. Unfortunately, next week will not be about the Isle of Portland.
But wouldn't that be wild?
That would be so funny.
Just funny to you and I.
Just the hat trick. So thank you for being in on the joke of having a Portland back-to-back extravaganza.
So funny.
Maybe next week we should just go back to Portland, Oregon. And
Okay,
just
we got
cover,
more
like,
to
a different
say.
part.
Well, if you made it to the end of this episode, congratulations, because I feel like that was a lot.
It was like a marathon, a beautiful marathon.
For you.
And me.
Where do you want to go next week?
'Tis the season, Katie. So I think next week we should go to someplace far off and magical. We should go back to Oregon.
Where the land of pumpkin and spice lives?
Yes, this is a big pumpkin spice latte. We live in a PSL.
I agree. It's the PSL and the PNW.
Ugh.
Okay, anyway.
Little known fact, the state outline of Oregon is a pentagram that actually summons a pumpkin spice latte. Next week, we are going to do Halloween in Oregon. Just kind of a broad, across the board, what's going on? And I'll give you this little teaser, this nugget in your head. Halloween is cool.
Wow. And for those of us that get that reference,
We'll hear more about it next week.
all right, we'll see you spooky kids then.
Boo!
Booyah. Isn't that what I just said? Isn't that what I just said? Isn't that what I just said?